everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to go ahead and do this second part, which is my top 10 niche fragrances for the winter of 2015. Now, I'm really excited to share this list just because niche fragrances, at least the niche winter fragrances, are really, for me, the creme de la creme. These are arguably my most favorite fragrances that I have in my entire arsenal, so it's always exciting to go ahead and start covering them. Now, a couple of ground rules before I start. Ground rules are always the same. First, this fragrance list is my fragrance list and nobody else's. That means that this is not the top complimented. These aren't the fragrances I think are the best for the winter. These are the fragrances that I'm wearing for the winter. Simple as that. Nothing else to really say about it. The second thing is, what do I consider winter? I consider winter generally something 50, 40 degrees Fahrenheit and lower. We're talking about fragrances, or we're talking about a time that's basically just cold. It's cold. I want something to be able to project. I want something a little bit stronger. I want straight fragrances that really have power, fragrances that really have depth to them. And that's really what I'm gunning for my winter fragrances. All right? And so with that, I think we can go ahead and jump in and just get started on the list. All right? So let's start off with my number 10 fragrance. My number 10 choice is a fragrance that has been recommended to me by a ton of people. They keep saying, go ahead, you got to try this fragrance out in the winter. This fragrance is actually arguably my first favorite fragrance. I find it really hard to actually pick up and say, oh, this is my favorite fragrance, just because there's like 2 or 3 that I would consider just absolute top tier and I couldn't fight for it. Anyways, this is from my summer list. We are talking about Bergamot 22. Yes, Bergamot 22 from my summer list. This is my favorite summer fragrance. Hands down, favorite fragrance for warm weather, and I have really rationed this just so I would not run out of this. Now, people keep telling me that this fragrance does so well in the winter, give it a try, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to give this one a try, and that's why it's on my list at number 10. It's easily a fragrance that I like, but let's see how well it does once the cold weather starts rolling and when I want to wear it in the, in that cold weather type scenario. I think I'm going to go ahead and try and wear this. We're more in a scenario where I'm going to be inside and outside at the different times, basically, and we'll see how it does. All right? So that's my number 10 fragrance, Bergamot 22. We're talking about cedar, we're talking about bergamot, and it's sharp, it's at the same time very refreshing, and it's just great. All right? My number 9 fragrance, moving on to number 9. We've got a fragrance that I bought a while ago, and it only creeps up in the winter. This is definitely a winter fragrance for me, and I choose to wear it in the winter. We are talking about Curel from Ramon Monegal. Now, this is the actual case. I actually didn't take it out beforehand, but we're looking at this bottle. Now, Curel is leather, basically. This is a leather scent, and it's leather through and through. The main difference with this leather is, one, this is one of the most pungent leathers I've ever come across. It's like pungent leather, but at the same time has a lipsticky vibe to it. So it's almost like if you took leather and mixed it with Iris or Dior Homme Intense, and that's really what you're going to get with this one. I've heard some people say that this is kind of like the niche version of Dior Homme Intense. I don't quite agree with that, but I can see where they're coming from with this one. This is easily one that I generally tend to wear for special occasions. If I know that I'm going out and I'm going to be out for a while, and yet I want people to smell me, but it's a special occasion. So a good type scenario might be a graduation that part-time is outdoors or something like that. Or maybe a dinner that you know that you're going to be at a rooftop bar that, has the cover, but at the same time it's got the heat lamps. Those type of scenarios. That's really where I'm wearing Curel in, and that's where I will be wearing Curel in. All right? Number 9, Curel. Number 8 is a fragrance that I have a tough time wearing at times, but I love it all the time when I wear it. It's a fragrance that I generally tend to save for the holidays. This is a fragrance that I kind of skip in between with Burberry London. Burberry London is one of my designer fragrances that I wear for holidays. This is the niche fragrance that I wear for holidays. We're talking about Serge Lutens Chergui. Chergui has a hay vibe. It's got a very deep, resinous vibe. It's just a fantastic fragrance that has a lot of power to it. We're talking about 1 spray of this baby and you're good. 1 spray, that's it. You go 2, you're really pushing the envelope. 3, you clearly don't like whoever you're around. All right? This is a fragrance that fantastically does well for those holiday scenarios, and that's really why I spray only 1 and I'm good. Doesn't really get that many compliments, but I personally like it a lot, and that's generally why I wear it. All right? Now, number 7, we've got a fragrance that is really, I guess you could say, my fragrance when I can't really think of anything I want to wear. I just throw this one on. And I throw it on because I have so much of it. We're talking about Creed's Spice and Wood. Now, Spice and Wood is exactly that. It's spicy, it's woody. What else do I got to say? It's just that. Now, Spice and Wood, it's recently come under fire just because my fiance does not like this. Doesn't matter how I wear it, where I wear it, she doesn't really like it that much. And so for that, I still wear it when I'm going to work at times. I can't figure out anything that I want to wear, and I've just got so much of this juice that I'm going to go ahead and just keep wearing it, because to me, it is still a good smell, but it's not getting you the rock star compliments that the other Aventus, Fruity and Slip. But it's not getting you the but it's not getting you the compliments that those other fragrances are generally getting you. So it still does well for me, and that's why it's on my list. I'm wearing Spice and Wood. All right, at number 7. Number 6, we've got a fragrance from the house of Tom Ford. Tom Ford, to me, arguably is the best cold weather scent, or scent house, if you will, as an overall scent. And we're talking about Tobacco Vanille is this particular fragrance. Now, Tobacco Vanille was the first fragrance that was introduced to me from the house of Tom Ford. We're talking about tobacco, a very deep tobacco. And at the same time, we're talking about a very deep vanilla. Put those two together and you get Tobacco Vanille. It is, simply put, it's just so deep, it's just so rich, and it's just so, on my skin, it's inviting. Now, this can put people off, don't get me wrong. So be a little bit careful when you go ahead and apply this one. But the one thing that I will say that this one has produced, and I've said it many times before, is when I wear this one with a suit, I always get compliments. It never fails to get compliments when I have it with a suit. Something about being in a suit with this mixes just so well that it just gives you kind of like this aura, persona, this authoritative, just very well put together aura, and it just works magical. I have never gotten a compliment when I have not been wearing a suit with this one. So take with it what you will. All right, we're talking about Tobacco Vanille at number 6. At number 5, we've got a fragrance that is my go-to bad boy year-round. We're talking about my Fruity and Slip Aventus. Aventus, I wear this sucker year-round for good reason. This has got apple, birch, cedar, I think it has cedar, and it kind of has a pineapple vibe to it, and it's just a very inviting, sharp, and at the same time well put together fragrance that really, I think it gives you off the vibe basically that you're confident, that you know what you're doing, and that you know what you want. And that's kind of what Aventus gives off. And a lot of times when I'm going to meetings or when I'm going to, meet certain people, I will throw on Aventus without shame. It has the projection, the longevity. This is a rockstar fragrance through and through, and I will certainly get another bottle when I'm done with this one, because I am almost half out with this one. All right, Aventus. Number 4 is a fragrance that I have a love affair with. I hate it sometimes, I love it sometimes, and right now I am loving it. We are talking about Musc Ravageur from the house of Frederic Malle. The parfumé is Maurice Roussel. Now, this fragrance is a heavy clove, heavy vanilla scent. It's a scent that is just so powerful. Again, 1 spray is really all that you need. I generally go 2 sprays just because I like to, if I'm going to wear it, I'm going to be as jumpy, as out there as I possibly can, and make sure that people actually smell me with this one. So that's why Musc Ravageur is back in the mix. I wear this one when I'm primarily going to be outside, want people to smell me. That's where I'm wearing this one, and I literally mean outside in the cold weather. This cuts right through that cold weather, and people are going to smell you. It dries down to a very warm, very, I guess, like cookie or cinnamon cookie vibe to it, and it's just magical. Love it. Fragrance number 3. This is a fragrance that it's on my list because it reminds me of my childhood. And at the same time, I love the smell. We're talking about, from the house of Diaz and Durja, we're talking about Bowmakers. Bowmakers is a scent that reminds me of rosin. It's like rosin and wood. If you don't know what rosin is, this is for all you string players, or it basically has to do with string instruments. Mainly the violin is what I used to use with it. And rosin was something that you kind of put on the bows, the bow of your violin basically, and to help with the actual sound of it. I think it was tuning sound. Forgot what the actual reason was. It's been such a long time since I've had it, but I do remember that smell of rosin, and it's just, whew, I just love the smell of it. And it combines that with wood, and it just reminds me of violin, and for some reason it's stuck in my head, and that's why it's here. I wear this one when when I feel like feeling good, basically, is when I wear Bowmakers. And that's really why it's on my list. Feel like feeling good, need a little bit of a pick-me-up, I'm putting Bowmakers on. Number 3, Bowmakers. Number 2, from the house of Olfactive Studios, you should know it by now, we're talking about Chambre Noire. Chambre Noire, again, this one is like, it's got this, what is that? Paper, it's kind of like got this paper vibe to it. It's not paper, I'm forgetting the word, I apologize for it right now. But either way, it's got this leather scent, it's very sensual, it's very warm, it's very inviting, and it's just papyrus. There's the note that I'm forgetting, papyrus. It's got this papyrus note, and I have smelled papyrus, was in Egypt, got to smell the stuff firsthand, and it does kind of smell like it. Alright, so this stuff, oh man, so it does perfectly well for it, and this is one of my, if not my most #1 compliment getter for the winter. People love this one, they compliment on it left and right. If I want to impress, I'm throwing on Chambre Noire. Chambre Noire for my number 2. And for my number 1 fragrance, this is a fragrance that is number 1 for the 2nd year and running. So, you know what the fragrance is. For those of you who follow my videos, we're talking about Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather. Tuscan Leather, the fragrance that supposedly smells like crack cocaine. This has gotten controversy left and right from people who are commenting on it. Some people swear up and down, no, this does not smell like leather. No, this does not smell like cocaine, or whatever it may be. And to be perfectly honest, I don't care. I like the smell. Some people say that it has a raspberry smell, and I can kind of see that where it comes from. But to me, this is like a leather, for lack of better words, raspberry-ish type smell that really just mixes perfectly well. It's got the staying power, it's got the projection. It's my number 1 go-to fragrance for the winter for good reason. I absolutely love this smell. People love it when they smell it on me, and that's really all you can ask for. Alright, that's my number 1 fragrance. Let me know what your number 1 niche fragrances are for the winter of 2015. Alright? Thank you guys, take care of yourselves, and you guys have a great day.